Not yet. Well, it is not a time to stop panicking for the teams. It is a time to start panicking if you're us, because we're going to do another.
We got to find something to talk about it.
We
now.
do. We do. See, you see this 61 alive. That is not the correct number, guys. That is supposed to be a 64. Unfortunately, looks like we had another couple of crashes, but at least this time, hey, even I crashed. Neat. Send and close. Sorry, you're not getting. I'm not sending the crash report, PUBG. Hopefully, you'll be okay with that decision on my part. But yeah, no, these big point gaps. I feel like as time goes on, especially if it's the same teams that keep kind of getting them, it's these big chunks, these massive chunks of points that are being picked up by teams repeatedly. It's not as the distribution, the point distribution isn't as equal as we normally see it. What do you think the reasoning behind that is? Do you have anything? Is it just like that's the way it is? I mean, I gotta feel like 5 minutes here, man.
No, I don't think it is. It you got to think about it from the other side, in my opinion, and teams that aren't necessarily picking up points early on. Which teams of the ones that aren't picking up points are the ones that have the capability to pop off, and once they hit momentum, maintain it? Because there are some teams we see, they come out in one game and they drop 15 kills, and then we don't really see them again. And then there are teams like SDK that they build momentum. Once they have a couple of good games, they start playing a lot more aggressively, calculated aggression, but a lot more aggressively, taking more fights, and that's when we start seeing them really farm. And I think really there's some teams in this lobby that you could see them maybe sticking to a game plan, and 1 out of 16 games it will pay off and they'll have a big game. There are others that will struggle to recover from a point deficit. And I think really you talk about teams like Sonics, STK, Veritas, Radiance. Those are the ones that can really dig deep and say, look, we're behind, balls to the wall, let's frag out this game and get a win. And they're the ones that, you'd bet on them doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Radiance was kind of the team that I had in mind. I mean, we saw, what they did yesterday, which, let's be real, wasn't much. And then, honestly, if you take out the first game from today, when they got their big win, they haven't really done much since. So it seems like it's hard right now for some of these teams that we're kind of grown accustomed to seeing string multiple good games together. It's hard to do that right now. And I don't know if that is having to do with the new, we talked about it at the beginning of the day, right? The new all 4 maps are the same, 4 maps in one day thing. If that change was enough to kind of throw people off to the extent that it's making things a little bit more difficult, I don't know. I don't see anything sticking out as to being like an obvious indicator of what's causing all this.
I mean, as well, you think about it, how many times have we been sat here whether casting or on the desk and talking about how many times Oath have gone back to back to back? Like there's factors like that as well. And they're not even a team that I just listed in the teams to have the capability to do that. But you think about it, if a team can string together 3 wins, like that is huge in PUBG. Like absolutely huge in terms of stacking up a safety net in terms of points. If you want to go and throw a couple of games to the wall and see what sticks, there's so many different factors to consider if a good team, inverted commas, good team, isn't necessarily up to par right now.
Well, it's kind of opening things up for some of the teams that aren't maybe necessarily always seen as quote-unquote good teams. I mean, that's why we see Fable doing so well. Or any trolls in the chat really has just been a very up-and-down team. I mean, they've been all over the place. And, they're finding their groove right now. Who's to say that that's going to stick around? I mean, Liberate still in 6. Hard Shifts been relatively consistent. They're in 7th right now. I don't know. I think the leaderboard's starting to level off a little bit. The only team maybe that I can say I'm super surprised about being in the bottom is Veritas. Veritas being 14th place.
Yeah.
They just haven't found that one game yet.
Yeah, it's and it's hard to put your finger on it really, because they haven't looked terrible. It's not as if we can sit here and say we've seen them consistently misplay or lose fights. So it's kind of weird because, again, they're another team. The last day of PCS1, they popped off and got 3 back-to-back, right? That was the whole reason they were in the winning race with SDK. So, I don't know. I don't think it's a conscious decision, but when do you see the step change for a team to really turn things around? You never want to leave it too late, and that's always a big debate in PUBG is, when do you start saying, okay, guys, what we're doing isn't working because now we need to make a push before it's too late?
Well, fortunately for everybody, we are still in week number 1, and Veritas has one more game left in the bag where they can maybe turn things around and have a little something to hang their hats on coming out of week 1 before they go into the prep week. Once again, I would like to remind everybody that we are not the only PCS2 Grand Final going on right now. We have PCS2 Asia that is going on as well. And then this weekend, we have PCS2 Europe and PCS2 APAC. And I believe we might see a familiar face over there in PCS2 Europe if you go ahead and tune in. You got any hot picks for that one? Any hot insight?
What hot picks for whose face you're gonna see, or
no for EU. I've got one coupon right now. I have to put it on an EU team to win the whole thing. Who am I putting it on?
I mean, it goes without saying. I stay hard for VARD, so TSM just always get my vote.
You get the back-to-back?
Oh,
FaZe, but I mean, look, FaZe.
I mean, Liquid and FaZe have looked fantastic as well recently, but I mean, VARD's my boy.
VARD's your boy. That's fair enough. You know that I've seen there are plenty of worse reasons to pick a team, but there you go. Put it in the bank right now. Go put your coupons on TSM.
Don't at me when it comes to if it doesn't come in.
100% at him. His DMs are always open. Whispers. Looking at this map, look, Illusion in 303, Primorsk. What's that all about?
Maybe an audible. We haven't seen much. Obviously, nobody making it down to Sosnovka this time around, and a couple of teams scattered around. I mean, Carnage, kind of in a bit of a weird spot, looting ruins right now, but
not ideal.
No, we'll have.
This is
okay. Landoon is sending it. Landoon's got a Tommy gun, and he's pushing in.
Landoon's got a Tommy gun and a big old dream to kill these guys. He's going to find one. Can he find two? Oh, no. Icy Flex. We got the SMG battles going on early. And this is just absolutely bananas. I did not think we'd see any hot drops, at least in this region. But you know what? They started doing it in Korea. And by God, 303 says if it's good enough for Koreans, it's good enough for us. And we are going to go ahead and crash onto this. Freebie Please gets rezzed. It is down to a 2v2, but this is some full commitment coming out from 303.
Wait, 2v2? Where's the fourth player of
D-Rich is, I have no idea. Top Dog, actually Top Dog off to the north right now. And it looks like he might be coming in. Flex just going to go ahead and hold. This Molotov is basically killing time for Top Dog to get there. As Freebie Please goes down, Icy Flex going to go for the Batman play.
Icy Flex is going to get a second knock on the back door as well. Voxic will fall here. This is terrible for 303. Honey Badger trying to get something done with the double barrel here, but I mean, this is just disastrous for both teams.
I've lost D-Rich as well. I'm not sure where he is. He's in there. So okay, there he is. I found him right there. 2-2. Oh no, the Batman! The drop shot on the Top Dog. He's absolutely bananas, and 303 will get the dub. They lose one in one of the most hideous, ugliest, disgustingest, beautiful fights that I think I've seen in an early game in quite some time.
Yeah, that was messy. It was messy, but we're always down. We're always down for the scrap, Paro. We're always down for it.
Always down for the early game scrap, and these boys definitely delivering here as we check in on SDK doing their looting up in South George rather. They do have company off in North George in the form of ATC as is usual. Haven't seen outside of game one. Haven't seen SDK and ATC really get into it just yet. But I think it's really just always. It's got to always be in the back of ATC's mind, right? that STK is going to decide that this is the game that we want to mess with you.
I mean, that's the thing when it becomes like this lingering threat, and you don't know when they're going to do it and when they're not. It puts you on the back foot in terms of, okay, well, we can't just send out our North George. We've got to scout the bridges, got to scout the flat top. What if they're waiting on Everest? It becomes a different factor for every different circle we see.
Speaking of Veritas, they are making their way through Pachinki Fields, and they're going to find themselves a nice little come up for Keenan there. Looks like Sonics have already made their way out of Pachinki over to the Pachinki Hills just off to the south. We'll see where Veritas decides to post up. They've got two in Grandma's. Looks like they're going to send Keenan and Jazza perhaps up to the church for a little bit of a wide 2-2 split here. Pachinki pretty much dead center of this circle. So not a bad early game rotation for Veritas. We see Radiance trying to come in from the north side of Razak, coming in right as Fabled is leaving, so the timing is there. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Zenny's going to get, I guess, messed with a little bit is the best way to word it. Yeah, peppered.
A little peppered with shots. Add it and Simply Matt, and where is Zenith going to go from here? It's you'd think you just got shot at a whole bunch. You'd maybe want to beeline it on out of there, but they're just kind of hovering for the time being, it seems. Though it looks like Liberate maybe have reformed, and both of these two are going to go on their separate ways. We did see in the kill feed there, Duel, Wooly picking up a down and a flush onto Dodge. And it looks like Dodge may be coming back here to see if they can maybe harass Duel on the cliffside.
Yes, I mean, this is the kind of start I would have expected to see on the back of a horrendous plane pass as we did in the previous game. But, maybe 303, it's a conscious decision. They're saying, look, we're down in 12th, 13th place, whatever. Let's try and pick up a couple of early points and make things a bit easier for ourselves. But again, what we were just talking about whilst we were filling for 187 minutes, it's something that, I respect teams that actively say, look, guys, we got to dig deep. We got to find something because it ain't working for us.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes to show also the knowledge that 303 has of, I mean, obviously it's very basic, simple entry-level knowledge, but the fact that Illusion would drop in Primorsk right there and 303 just taking advantage of that, saying, you know what, let's just go for it and see what happens.
Hey, do your homework and it pays off.
There you go. They got 4 kills for themselves. They got Primorsk all to themselves. They're still looting up around there. Meanwhile, Liberate is going to make the moves. They're going to pass right by Dodge. And once again, peppering. They're going to be the pepperies this time instead of the pepperonis. Also going to get peppered a little bit by Yaxley here. Nobody worse for the wear just yet, but that is definitely a little bit spooky going through all that. Check in on Hardship. Oh shoot, no, Addit is going to get spotted out, so that is 1 down for Liberate. They lose 1 in the process. Hard shifts. Pretty much where you'd expect hard shifts to be. Yeah, just vanilla. Just gray. Well, I mean, look, this circle is remarkably beige. All right, like everybody knows exactly, and that's kind of what's going to make this game a little bit more interesting. Despite 303 providing us a little bit of early game entertainment there. This is one of those circles where pretty much everybody knows where they're going to be, and they know where everybody else is going to be as well.
Yeah, it's one of those rehearsed circles where, it's happened so many times in scrims that historically you think back, it's like, okay, we know where Tempo's going, we know where, SDK are going to go, and these are the ones where there's very, very little room for kind of, I guess, diversity. But now with NA PUBG in 2020, there are a lot of variables now with all these new teams, and absolutely what we were just talking about, everybody is in the center of the circle. There's no real overlap. Everybody's kind of spaced, and even with that shift, really, it's not going to change an awful lot.
Not too much. Oath is going to have to bring it up from Military Island, but they should be able to do so successfully and safely. 303, meanwhile, in vehicles making their way from Primorsk, depending on the route that they decide to take, they should be all right as well. Looks like we have a little bit of a scrap brewing just to the north of Chopsticks here between Hardships and Carnage. But for the most part, I believe it is just a little hello, a couple of hello bullets. Hi, neighbor. Here's a shot to your head. Just let you know we're here. Looks like that's all it's going to be, though, pretty much.
But again, I like this, though. Hardships position gave them the opportunity to scout this. They make a simple move north. And now, again, I talked about it in the previous map, this is one of those setups that we see become so deadly in late game. Regardless of if they get, you know, a lot of traffic past this compound, they've got themselves a really, really good opportunity here in this game.
Have to keep an eye out on them. They do have neighbors just off to the east in the church, Pachinki Church, with Veritas. Comets have backfilled right behind them to take over the hills just to the south of Pachinki. Oath, meanwhile, as we said, have made their way from Military Island. They're just hugging the coastline for now. Looks like they'll opt to play the hills, most likely off to the east, southeast. Nobody really over there with the exception of Duel. Duel just off to the west of Potato Mountain. Looks like Dodge might... Dodge might be running into Zenith here very shortly over in the school package area. And yep, Finna going to pay the price there.
But, you hate seeing a man stumble near package.
Yeah, you do. You do. You know, sometimes just jumps right up and bites you, Hypoc.
It does.
This time it's going to be Dodge that pays the price. But again, this circle 2 on this circle equally is rehearsed, right? I mean, we're seeing a couple of little picks here and there. Like there goes Ripper, gonna get a little knock there. Most likely should get rezzed. This is the fight going off to the north of Chopstick, so that should be fine. But again, you know, we're seeing people get picked off every now and then here, just because of like weird rotations or just picking the wrong rotation. Really, I mean, Dodge has lost 2. In possibly one of the slowest, tamest mid games or early games that we've seen in a while. We'll have to see how they play that out from here. But that kind of tells me Dodge needs to go back to the board here and maybe do a little bit of homework.
Well, I mean, they were a team that looked so deadly in the PCS1 group stages, and we haven't seen them find that form again.
Yeah. It's just been very up and down. I mean, they've always been an up and down team, but the problem I think with Dodge now is that their lows are way, way lower than they used to be.
Yeah.
The floor has kind of dropped a little bit.
Dude,
whereas
it was the DBS, man. As soon as they started playing DBS, man, they lost that little magic, the X factor,
the DBS edge. As we wait and see the most obvious circle. Okay, hard shift to the south, but I think most teams anticipating this thing going somewhere around there, maybe not as hard to the south as it did. STK, you can see, going to have to make a move. Zenith going to move as well. Radiance just on the edge. But the problem now is that there's a lot of teams that are already in the circle, and we've got a lot of teams that are just on the outside or that are having to make their way through, and not a lot of really strong positions here. So I imagine we're going to see maybe some mid-game fighting here break out soon.
Yeah, this is when we expect things to... Oh, no. Maluk, I guess, looking for a secondary option. We know they had the compound over to the west, and he's going to lose his life for it, unfortunately, but... The notorious thing about Pachinki Red, this building here, is it's so difficult to hold onto your vehicles. And ATC have kind of got all 4 stacked up here now, so hopefully it's not going to be their demise.
Well, they do have, I mean, most likely vehicles are going to be taken out. Now, the one thing they do have going for them is there's nobody off to the hills just to their east. You can see Duel still on the move as well, and they might be running into 303 here shortly. You can see it just through the scope of Yaxley. Wooly, I think, bringing up the rear for once, as we can see the rest of his team slowly dying in the kill feed here as they managed to crash right on top of 303. Voxic has gone down. Honey Badger still up, and you got a nice little angle coming out from D Rich as 303. Seems like every fight just needs to involve them early on here. Wooly, oh, there we go.
Okay, the man bringing up the rear sends it right up. And actually, Wooly is going to have no idea that there's a prone Honey Badger. But actually, Yaxley from distance kind of bailing out Duel here. And they will keep everybody on their feet for the time being.
Wow. And that is 303 just quickly wiped, unfortunately, there from the third party. Great shooting coming out from Comets. We haven't really touched on them too much because, I mean, let's be honest, they really haven't been doing too much. They're sitting currently in 13th place, but with that high ground right now, those Pachinki Hills, they have got line of sight down on everything that they want. They're going to find another down there onto Lamp as D-Treat's just raining down hell onto Wooly.
Yeah, I mean, actually, one shot left will put him down as well if D-Treats can find it through the fence. And he will find it. And D-Treats really has been the magical member of Comets. We've talked about him popping off so much recently. And look at this aggression now. He wants to convert on these two knocks. The res is coming in right now, but if he can get into nade range, you can see at the bottom of your screen, he does have 2 frags to send towards the fence. He's going to smoke himself towards it. He wants to get into nade range. The third party's coming in from Liberate. That might slow it down a little bit.
That is super unfortunate because if there's any team that needs to capitalize right now, it's Comets. They need as many points as they can get, and we see the new circle has popped. It's going to shift down to the southwest. This compound that Duel is playing.
Is it good? Is it good?
Really it's got range.
It's good. It's good. No, it didn't go to the backside. Unfortunate there.
Oh, the second one got him.
That's a shame now because it kind of puts him in a position where do I commit now or not? But SDK made a mad dash from the west side of the circle. They've had to settle for a 4-man shack setup here and Liberate were pressuring this on the way in. Kurt will fall. But they should be able to get this res.
The mighty have fallen. I never thought I would see STK 4-manning a shack in Circle 3, or Circle 4, rather.
It's usually a dip with all 4 of them shooting at a different team and winning.
And nobody shooting back, yeah. This time people are actually shooting at. I mean, this. I don't know. It's obviously you're just kind of making jokes here. I'm sure STK will find somewhere to go. Radiance, meanwhile, is also trying to find somewhere to go. They're on the north side here. Dealing with a little bit of fire here from Sonics. Meanwhile, Fabled, they're going to find a place right in the middle here to send it, as it looks like they have found a little bit of hillside to work with that's just out of range of Veritas and Comets. ATC, meanwhile, so caught up with staring over towards hard shifts and STK that they don't really see this going on.
No, they don't. There's, again, this position could be so strong come the late game, but with how much pressure there is around the edges, and obviously Oath still occupying the barn, it's going to make it really difficult for Veritas to really contest the top.
Yeah, Veritas, this is looking kind of spooky for them. They're getting shot at from Comets. They've got the smoke down. They've got a 2-2 split, and they've got Fable creeping up over the top. And this is not looking too great. Keenan's going to go down to D-Treats and going to get flushed out by Hexetti, though. Nice little steal of the kill there. And, Comets now getting pushed down from behind by Zenith. He's going to find one later. Going to go back to the tree. Monty doing a hell of a job holding the line right now for Comets. And now Comets have to put their attention, I would believe, back here towards the west. Yaxley is already down, but here come the grenades. And keep an eye on Mystery. That low flank might be good. But look at Oath. Hypoc, look at Oath. They're coming in from the north side. Nobody sees them.
They absolutely want to get a piece of this action here. Dietrich's going to find 2 knocks onto Zenith there. Later on, Roth will fall, but the trade is actually comes in from Balefrost.
Oath coming in at the exact right time to finish the dinner plates of both of these teams. Meanwhile, Radiance tried to make a crash onto Fabled, and they are paying the ultimate price here. Although, it's down to Waldo. If Waldo can pull something off here, McCoy and Los are very, very low. Can they go for the heal here? Can they go for the res? He's going to go for McCoy. Los, I believe, is on his first bleed, so he should be able to get both of these off, I think. Well, Oath, we're back to them. See how they decide to push on to Zenith. Zenith got the reses off. A good shift there for Comets, Oath, and Zenith if they can finish out these fights.
Yeah, and actually, it's surprising they've managed to get up here relatively uncontested considering how much action there was on the top side. And Zenith will be able to reset a little bit. But again, you can see on the minimap where this circle lies. This fight is just a matter of when, not if.
You can tell how little how little information Oath really has on what's going on up here. They know that there's a fight going on, but that's about it because they got the opening down, the initial down, and then they've just kind of stalled. They haven't really pushed any further than that, and it's allowed Zenith to get all their reses. Comets got all their reses. Looks like Radiance will get theirs, and now Zenith actually being the aggressor, they're going to push on to Oath. Reload will go down. Balefrost staying just out of line of sight. He's going to throw the Molotovs down to prevent the push. See how long they can hold it out. They traded out one with Leda. Look at this. Is Carnage crashing on this from the south as well? Yes, they are. And they're going to pull off. Okay. What a nice little fight there.
I mean, just feeling each other out, I guess. Yeah,
I guess.
Opting to coexist.
Yeah, trading a knock from side to side, and let's see. We'll see Zenith. Oh, Carnage is getting just pulled apart here by a combination of Zenith and Comets. Oath looked like for a second there we're considering maybe going back for the third party, but you know, they're just being very cautious. I guess I don't know. You know, it's not a play that you would expect to see from a team that's sitting in first place with 73 points.
No, it's not. But maybe as well, you know, it's a little bit of damage control. And maybe, you know, Pat Caps is now the voice of reason for that roster.
Fair enough. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what they're doing for sure. You just, you know, usually when you see a team sitting in first place fairly comfortably, you're more likely to see them want to push on to these things. But
yeah.
playing it very carefully, very quietly. 1 kill so far in the bank. Let's see if they can maybe take a few shots over towards Comets. Not going to find anything, but Bale just pull back down, and they're just completely comfortable working the north side of this hill. Yeah,
and no res still coming out just yet for Pat Caps. I think the blue is just chasing him ever so slowly.
Slowly chasing him, yeah. Very slow. We'll see where the next circle goes. Veritas looking pretty nice. Have control over the southern part of that circle. Liberate is going to have to make their way in, but they are in some trouble already. Duel on foot, and this fight eventually is going to have to play out. Zenith looks like they're going to get taken out by Comets. Meanwhile, Oath just creeping along that ridge line, seeing what they can see.
I mean, I like it. The reset now has given them access to a much stronger position to hold the next circle shift. So I do like it. They've got information of a couple of other teams in close proximity. It may be the correct decision in this case.
It's definitely the safe decision. They've got, as you said, I think they've got a lot more information about what's going on now than they had whenever they first pushed in. We see Duel is trying to push in from the south, and that might actually force Comets to rotate up into Oath, and Oath is ready and expecting it, but Comets is already so low. You can see their bars were very, very low. J-Sank actually going to go down there. I believe that's it for hard shifts. And yep, here we go. Comets, Yaxley's down, Monty's down. Is there anybody left? Nope. Victor going to be the last one. He's going to get spotted out by Danny G as Comets just gets whittled down by Duel and eventually have to crest that hillside, and they run face first into Oath.
Yeah, still not really able to get any momentum in terms of kills yet, but like I said, they're in a spot now, potentially. You can see they're going to pick up Danny G at the edge of the circle here. That's going to be the fourth gun on the board for them. And, I mean, Oath could make their way into the center here to really make a push for this chicken dinner.
Let's see what happens. They still got 4-man squad of Sonics coming in from the north side. They've just cleaned up ATC, and they are looking strong and confident. They've got nobody to their north. They got STK down to just Purdy Curdy and at Luke 12. We're creeping around on that western edge. Duel, meanwhile, well, they found a shack that they can heal up in for now at least, but Veritas, I think, has them pinned pretty much dead to rights.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a matter of time for them, unfortunately. I mean, this match really progressing a lot slower than I thought it was going to be. A lot of people dying off throughout the mid here. Obviously, 17 alive coming into phase 6. Sonic's quietly putting 4 kills in the bag for themselves, and I mean, a really good spread actually. If you look at the minimap, they're very well poised to take on a fight with anyone right now.
Yeah, no matter where this circle goes, they're going to feel pretty good about getting it in. It's going to go hard to the south, so they will have that high ground position where Mime and Win is, but we need to keep an eye on Oath. What is Oath going to do? They have to make their way into this circle somehow, but Veritas has all eyes facing that direction. And actually, it's going to be Mime that finds Balefrost. Snakers will find Wooly to finish off Duel, but Oath losing 1, as Balefrost is going to get finished off by Mime as well. And Oath Boys just hanging out in the smoke cloud while Rello just kind of holds Veritas off for the time being. Yeah,
and actually, there you go. You're going to get an audio cue, and that's going to be the go signal for Relo to send a couple of shots in towards Veritas, but unable to really find any damage to try and convert on. Sharpshot will find Pat Caps with an aid, though, and that could swivel Veritas back to take this fight here. Relo's got to hold the line whilst the res comes through from Snakers. You see Veritas on the X-ray. They're throwing a lot of utility towards Relo. This is a lot of pressure for him to deal with.
Well, they should have been throwing that stuff towards Pat Caps because Snakers is able to get the res off. So Oath back up to 3. The mollies are coming out. The ground is hot. The floor is lava. But Oath still has this phenomenal ridgeline to work on, especially considering the fact that Sonics was wrapping around, but they pulled off because they got shot at from behind by Shoot to Kill. But now it looks like, oh, here comes Sonics. They're going to continue their push now, and that's a good nade from Tickleton. We'll get the opening down.
Not a good one.
That was a not good nade as it hits the tree branch, but Shrimsy will follow it up. Mime will follow it up with another one, and it's down to just Relo as Sonics coming alive with the utility, but okay. Relo going to get the down in the flush, and this is going to be Veritas' signal to go.
And actually, all the meanwhile, SDK has actually backfilled Sonic's position that I said was so strong. I think Sonics wanted to sweep this side of the hill to maybe take more control or clean up some of these kill points. And I like the aggression, but it's come back to bite them in the ass a little bit in terms of the swivel from Oath and Veritas.
I'm not sure. I'm wondering if maybe Sonics had a misread on how many were up for STK there. I know STK was taking a few shots over in their direction. It was enough to scare them to make this wrap all the way around. And we'll see if they still want to square off with Veritas. They're still bowing up like they want to. So it stands to reason that Sonics figures that something scarier is off to their north side. Either that or they just feel like taking the fight.
Yeah, I mean, the circle shifted back over this way, so we know that the center dot shouldn't really be a factor if this fight cleans up before the circle starts shifting, but Sonic's still trying to be the aggressors here.
The utility's still coming out. Veritas got the happy feet. They're dancing around, not giving up position just yet. They've got a ridge line that they like. They want to work with it. Win is going to come around the side, take a few shots, not going to find anything. Will he find this one? Yes, he will. He'll find Sharpshot just barely in the nick of time. And Jazz is going to go down as well to Shrimsy as Sonics now come alive. They can find the last one. That's going to be it, clean as you like, as Veritas gets wiped and Sonics have the good position.
I love that. H-Win takes contact. He drops down to low HP, and he's got a teammate there ready to counter peek off of his damage. So really, really nice stuff from Sonics there. Great team synergy. Liberate still chilling down to the south side of the hill here. But like I said, the two members of STK did get up behind Sonics, and I doubt that they're going to be aware of this. If they come back to kind of re-clear this side of the circle again, I mean, Sonics is pushed for the high ground. You've got to give credit where it's due. This is a really good move.
I mean, they are being about as careful as you could hope for. I mean, look at them. They're mollying trees just on the off chance that somebody might be snaking behind them. They know that somebody is there. They just have no idea where and have no information on where they might be now. Meanwhile, Liberate, you got to give them credit. They were pretty much picked to pieces at that compound somehow. Simply Matt and Guabi managing to make it out of that. and get back into this and keep 2 up going into this late game. And they might be in a really good spot here to third party if STK and Sonics spot each other out first.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kurt's in a deadly spot. When you're prone on the downward slope of a hill like that, it's so hard to see players. Just because people do what H-Win's doing right here. They're head peeking from further back a little bit. As soon as H-Win or Tiggleton takes a shot, it might be the opportunity for Kurt to pounce. But Luke 12 now going to pressure back over towards Matthias. Get a little bit of damage initially, but Guabi is good for the support. And actually, there you go. Kurt springs up. We'll find H-Win exactly as I planned. He's going to cook a nade. He's going to throw it back out onto the... Oh, actually, it went further than the rock Tig's on, but Kurt's found himself a kill point nonetheless.
He's got to be figuring somebody's on that rock, right? He's going to be throwing that utility out. We know SDK and their utility uses got a bordering on a meme at this point because it's just so damn good. I mean, they're so accurate with it. Meanwhile, Liberate managed to pick up Luke 12, and they're still wrapping around. But Shrimsy, look at the wrap he's got coming down to the low side. Oh, but he gets spotted out. He's on fire. The Molotov was perfectly placed there by Guabi. Shrimsy going to drop down to about half HP. Simply Matt just holding the line right now as Liberate just works the edge. We'll see who will spot out who first. Kurt's going to get spotted out by Guabi. That's going to be it for STK going down in third. And now it's just a 2v2 between Tiggleton, Shrimsy, and Matt and Guabi. You got to like the split, but Shrimsy goes down. Matt with a great spot, and it's all down to Tiggleton. He's got the high ground. He's going to spot Guabi, take the first shot. No, simply Matthias will clutch it out and Liberate from the ashes, pulls it out.